All right. Alright, so we're just going to wait until 8:05 and then we'll get started. Alright, I got a couple people writing comments already. Is it okay if my essay is 3 to 4 pages long? Yes. It is 100% fine if it is 3 to 4 pages long. Just don't go above 5 pages too much. You know, it's ballpark, but I think it actually says in the rubric 5.5 pages is you'll get deducted for it. There's no way you can do it in an hour. What we're going to find out. Alright, I think there is a little bit of a lag when I'm talking and looking at the comments. So if I don't respond to your comment right away, then it's because of the lag. But we're going to give it a shot. Just while we wait till 8:05, I'm going to review some documents that I think you should be reviewing. Or at least pull up some ones that I think you should be reviewing. What the heck? I want this one as well. Somebody says, where's my Negroni? I'm sick, so I'm currently rotating between Halls and water. Unfortunately, not a Negroni. It's Monday night too. Come on, guys. Negronis are reserved for Friday and Saturday after a long week. You look young. I'm not young. I'm an old man. Look, I got gray hairs. Gray hairs. Okay. Okay. So let's. Somebody asked, what's the minimum pages we can write? That is totally your discretion, depending on how well you write it. Is the textbook a mandatory source? No, it is not mandatory. You can use my lecture slides actually on that. Let me pull up one more document that you guys might need. I think I do that from here. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we're going to start in T-minus 1 minute. There is, just for you guys' record, that is how I would like lectures to be referenced. I build my lectures off of the textbook, so if you don't have the textbook, you can reference my lectures in lieu of the textbook. It will still be deemed a reliable source. These comments are hilarious. Is the textbook mandatory for additional sources? We're going to go through the rubric or the instructions. Somebody asked, does this mean class is canceled? No, class is still going on tomorrow. This has nothing to do with class. Well, it will help. This will help you. Will this stream be posted? Yeah, it's going to be recorded and available on this YouTube. Can we use evidence not from Canada for studies? Yes, absolutely. Can I use your essay as a reference? No. Hopefully it'll be helpful. Anyways, this is how you reference lectures. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's do a quick run through of the assignment. Okay, so it's due Friday. Yes, 100%. Here we go. In addition to your course textbook, you are required at least 4 credible sources. It says you'd like at least 3 credible sources from peer-reviewed journals. Honestly, you better make all 4 of them from peer-reviewed journals. You know, just to be sure of it. So in addition to your textbook, so textbook or lecture slides, okay, and then the 4 sources, okay. No more than 5 pages, double space, 12-point font, yes. And one thing that's crazy, I see students do this all the time. I think they're like copying and pasting things. Once you're done everything, highlight everything, you know, go like this, hit Control A, and then just, you know, make sure that everything is the same font, everything is the same size. It's super easy to like highlight everything. It makes it look like it's, you know, all one assignment. All right. So there's a cover page. We're going to do that. I'm not going to focus on it. You can do that. There's an introductory paragraph. So what I like to do when I'm writing these things out, okay? Again, I'm still trying to do it within the hour, okay? Okay, I like to do introduction. I'm one of these people. I like headers. Okay, and we're gonna have body paragraphs, and this is the theory part, and then we have the conclusion down here. I like to separate this out. It gives you, immediately you're going to be focusing on the structure of what you're writing, and it'll also allow you to better space it out. Now, we're going to keep going through here, keep going through. 12.5 no longer there. Use APA formatting, 100%, not a problem. Use either Google Scholar or TMU Library. Yes, Google Scholar, absolutely love it. I have another YouTube video on it. We will be using that today. Soft copy about where you submit. Okay, research topics. So this is where I want to talk about for a little bit. I want us to pick a topic. Actually, I'm going to do this first. Okay, again, so we're focusing on, I'm just going to do a little copy and paste. Okay, this is everything that when it comes to writing the introduction, this is everything I'm going to need when it comes to writing the body. That is everything I'm going to need, and then the conclusion, everything I'm going to need there. I think a lot of times when people are writing, students are writing assignments, they start with the beginning, and then they try to write the introduction, and then they work their way through it. That's not how to do it at all. You try to like do a little bit in each section, and like let the entire paper grow. It's gonna be, that's how the pros do it. No, not that pros do it, but that's how I recommend you do it. That's how I do it. That's how most professors do it. Okay, any other comments I missed? There's somebody saying, do I have another monitor? Yes, I do. What if I can't find your sources? You better keep looking until you can find sources. Can we write about anything as long as it's about one of the HR topics recommended, like anything within that topic? Yes. Is there still no late penalty for this assignment? What? No, there's a big late penalty. Will this be posted on the YouTube channel? Yes. I'm a big fan. Oh, that's nice of you. Do we have to use in-text citations? Yes, we do. Somebody's asking for the missing slides from last week's lecture. Today right now we're focusing on this. Okay, let's pick a topic. I don't care which one it is. Is your background Finnish? My background is Polish, although Helsinki is the capital of Poland and Helsinki is my last name. I am Polish. Okay, which one? I'll highlight the topics that I like. I'm really willing to do any of these. Oh, I like that one a lot. Which topic do you guys want me to do? These are all good. Well, maybe not some of them. Oh my god, everybody's saying different ones. Are you guys just happen to say the ones that you're going to be working on? Okay, I'm going to purposely pick a topic that people are not mentioning. A lot of people are mentioning mental health. A lot of people are mentioning wage gaps. A lot of people are mentioning bullying. These are all like these are good. I kind of like the idea of bullying. Not that I like the idea. So many good ones. Okay, let's see. What did most people? I got 7 votes for bullying. Yeah, okay, we'll do bullying. I didn't want to do bullying, but we're gonna do bullying. Okay. Thank you, whoever said that first. Bullying. Okay, so we're doing bullying as the topic. Okay, but we're not just saying bullying. We're gonna say. Okay, so there's your topic. Okay, so there's that. Again, there will be a cover slide, a cover page that you're gonna have, but we're not gonna waste our time on that. Now, for the most important part, okay, we can worry about the introduction later, the theory piece. Okay. Now let's talk about theory. When we're talking about bullying, what are the main topics we're going to talk about? Okay, the number of paragraphs. What is this? The number of paragraphs as they throughout. Love, organize, clear, discuss. Okay, cool. Okay, bullying. What I like to do is I like to say the big concepts that we're going to be defining it. Okay, so bullying in the workplace. So even before we get to bullying, bullying is based on somebody else help me out. What would you guys say for the big topics? Because I kind of want to lead to bullying, and then these are like the big. Oh, there we go. We're live. So main theoretical. You can call it a variety of different things. And then I want to say something like ways. So again, I'm still trying to figure out the structure of my story, okay? So I've identified the topic, bullying in the workplace. Now I'm trying to identify the big HR concepts that are related to that topic that I want to talk about. So bullying is the big one. I could talk about, okay, so alternatively I could talk about it from that perspective, but I could go bullying first. So like, what is bullying? And then I could say, why is it important? Like, what are they? Right? There's like another kind of like sub-theme. And then what are the... Right? It's like, so my antecedents are, what are the factors that contribute to bullying in the workplace to occur? Right, we could do something along those lines. So people have made some comments. So somebody says it's your actual class, just describe, don't go to your school. Well, Alex, you don't have to watch this if you don't want to. I'm teaching people how to write essays. So sexism. Yeah, I like the idea of sexism contributes to bullying. So let's talk about sexism is gender-based discrimination. We can talk about harassment. There's different... one thing that we say, what is bullying? I'm sure there are different forms of bullying. I don't know what they are, but I'm sure we can find a reference about that. Offensive communication. Communication's a good one. Yeah, I don't... okay, so the other thing, the reason why I have this page up is, so here's our course outline. okay? And maybe some of the topics that we're going to cover, we can look at them and see whether anything comes to mind when we talk about bullying. Operating a legal framework. Okay, we can talk about what role the organization plays, what role coworkers play. You know, I think we could talk about, in terms of here, we could talk about culture, potentially, right? Because we could say some cultures enable bullying to occur. And some addressing. Something tells me I'm not going to complete this in an hour. Promoting health and safe workplace. Yes, absolutely. So that's like specifically in the outcomes. We talk about employee well-being. Oops. Obviously, all this stuff we'll have to find references for, but we'll do that after. And let's talk about, oh, you know what? Outcomes. I like this better. Employee outcomes. So such as employee well-being, stress, all that stuff. Anxiety. And then employer outcomes. Yes. Professors love when you break these into macro categories. Productivity, absenteeism. Okay, cool. Anything from defining, analyzing, designing work? I don't think so. Planning for, recruiting, selecting employees. I guess you technically could talk about like selecting people. I don't think it's going to be a good one. We might delete this one, but let's keep it for now. Okay, orientation, training, and developing employees. Training. Yeah, I think training is a good one. Or it could certainly shape it, right? Training. I guess that's kind of in line with occupational health and safety. And we could talk about training associated with bullying, right? And you could pretty much just read them this essay that I'm writing and get people to understand it, and that would probably help them with the training. Managing employee performance. Yeah, that would do it. Performance management. That's like the whole discipline idea. Good. Rewarding and recognizing employees. Yeah, you probably don't want to reward employees for bullying. I'll skip that. Employees' rights. Yeah, unions. We'll skip the unions and international stuff. Okay, I think that's good for the outline. And here we go. Okay, so that's that. What else do people say? Have you ever been bullied in the workplace? I think everybody's been bullied in the workplace. Have you ever been the bully? I think everybody's also been the bully. If you can complete it in an hour, you get 5% bonus. Yeah. Okay, racism. Can I get in a gangbang? Yeah, I know. I want a gangbang too. I need the fuel. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do this in an hour either. Is this going to be posted? Yes. This man is a Chad. I don't know what a Chad is. You know what? Random fact is my nanny. I was talking to somebody about my nanny. My nanny's 22, and we were talking, and she said, "Hey, you don't know what it's like to communicate with 20-year-olds." And I was like, "Sure I do. I teach undergrad." And she's like, "No, you don't." So she made a list of about a dozen words that 20-year-olds use all the time. Chad was not one of them. And I took a test to see how many I know. It's going to be coming in an upcoming video. But I got 50%, so I was pretty jacked about that. Somebody says, are we allowed to incorporate ideas from this video? Yes, 100%. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so what is bullying? So we're definitely going to want a definition, an explanation of what it is, and then different forms of bullying. I guess there's like, the only one I really know is cyberbullying. I'm pretty sure there's different physical bullying. Pretty sure there's different forms of it. I don't really know what they are though. What are the outcomes of bullying? Is this relevant? I think we kind of know that bullying is bad. We might be chopping this, but it's like an easy one to talk about. Okay, let's go back up here. So this, I would do half a page, conclusion, where are you? This would be half a page, that's one page. That leaves 4 pages for the lit review. Okay. Maybe this. Maybe reload this. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Actually, I'm going to save this before I... what are we? Hopefully it's not anything... Alright, let's... now... let's... Okay, now let's use Google Scholar. So I use quotes around this because quotes make it look like there's a string. If I just did without quotes, for example, and then if you look at the top, Zap, that one stayed. That's a bad example. Sorry. It is a good example. A good reference, but a bad example of why I think it's important to include these. Okay, so real quick, little 101 on Google Scholar. You type in the word you want to find. You can type in a custom range if you want only more recent ones like this. You can see only the most recent, but we'll do all time. If you're looking for a specific, published in a specific journal, right? So here, like some of the big ones that I read often for my own research. If there's any authors you want, dates here, right? So that's an advanced search. But since we're not looking at advanced search, we just want some of this. Okay, bullying, and let's do this. And another trick when you want to find a definition, just try to think about how people would phrase it. There we go. So just immediately, okay, immediately, we have a definition. There we go. We're getting all of the purpose for this is we're getting all of the references right now. Okay, so one thing I should note here, where is this one? Yeah, okay, we're taking a direct quote from here. What page is that? 225. Okay, you see what I did there? A little button here. APA formatting selected. Done. Okay, I'm going to just put it here for now so that I remember. I'm going to put quotes so that I know that it's the exact, and then page 25. But to do in-text citation, you do this. Okay. In text citation, you put each of the author's last names, put a little and in between them, the year, and if it's a direct quote, then you put a page number as well. If it's not, if it's not a direct quote, then you don't need the pages, you don't need the quotes, but you can't have stolen it directly from the content. Okay. I'm just going to put this in the back here. And then we're going to have a references eventually. There we go. So Boolean. And then if we, let's see what they say. Dysfunctional behavior at the workplace and its impact on employee performance. Okay, so that's one of the outcomes. Okay, employee job performance. And okay, another thing you should need to know. I already know that I'm going to be including this definition up above, and if you are referencing the same article again, you don't need to reference every single author's name. You simply say, if there's 3 or more, you simply go the author's last name of the first author et al., just like this. Okay. All right, there we go. Did I miss anything? Somebody's saying the more references and citations, the better. Correct. Sometimes, but not always, as long as they're quality. If they're good quality references, yes. But I think oftentimes people just, often write bad references. Okay, good. All right, so let's continue. There's dysfunctional behavior or complex behavior. I kind of like the wording of this sentence. I am not, see what I did here is I directly copied it. I am not going to directly copy this, but I'm going to be inspired by that. Because I like the way they referred to that. See, they call it dysfunctional behavior concepts and types, bullying as a dysfunctional behavior. So this is how these guys define it as well. Refer to the mistreatment of a colleague or a coworker. I like that. I like that too. Okay. Ooh, consequences. There we go. Let's just copy this for now so we don't lose it. Again, because we directly copied it, we're going to have to reword it, we're going to have to think about it, but I'm putting it here for now just so we don't lose it. Okay, can have harmful effects on the physical memories. Okay, so these would, okay, so it's apparently according to these, so it's saying because of this, that is who we can reference for that. Okay, so these appear to be employee outcomes. Very good. Lower self-esteem, lower self-confidence. Oh man, these are all. Again, these are all sorts of things that are employee outcomes. You know what's a bad experience? Ugh, sorry, one second. Okay, what's poor etiquette is when they did all this. They listed a whole bunch of outcomes, and then they just have a list of references at the tail end. What you should do is after every single outcome, that is where the reference should be. So that if somebody wanted to, they could go directly, they see this, and they could go directly to that paper and identify that reference that you're making, rather than trying to guess which is social isolation, which of these studies actually refers to that. So that is bad etiquette, but well, we're not going to be too picky on that. Okay, different forms. I still want to go with different forms of cyberbullying. Okay, different forms of bullying. So when I'm scanning the paper here, I'm just basically looking at the titles to see whether, another negative impact of workplace bullying. Another thing you can do is hit Control F, right, and then just go through and see what it's saying. This paper is essentially saying dysfunctional behavior leads to bullying. Bullying is a form of dysfunctional behavior. Bullying as a dysfunctional behavior, right? And I kind of like the wording that it's a dysfunctional behavior, suggesting it's poor, it's negative, it's bad. It's not beneficial. I think it's time to get we got our definition, or maybe I want to do types. I want different types of bullying. An integrative review. See, this one looks like a monster. Anytime a paper gives like the concept, workplace bullying, and then it uses something called a review, that's going to be a home run reference, because that's going to give you tons of good stuff. So let's just pop that up. Workplace bullies, why are they successful and what can be done about it? I don't know if that's really... So if they're successful, then wouldn't everybody want to be a bully? Bullying in the workplace, definition, prevalence, antecedents, and conflict. This is essentially the paper that I want to write, so good. Alright. Alright, so we got this one. Okay, what do you have to say about bullying? I should go down one at a time. Oh, I do. That bullying is categorized as work-related, personal, physical, and academic. Ooh, that's good. That's how they define workplace bullying. That's what I wanted. Classification of types of bullying. Boom, home run. You see? That's what I thought. There would be different kinds. Okay. Different forms. See, different forms. Now, how do I say? Where's the words that you used? Types of bullying. Calling it workplace bullying. Work-related. Above this, it says something about what it described what it was. What is another definition? It said something about power versus power. Synthesis, stress on workplace bullying is viewed as repeated unwelcome negative acts. It can involve criticism, humiliation, intention. Okay. I'm beginning to think that I need to. What I need to do is I need to get definitions for each of these different types of bullying. Oh my God, look at all of those. That is going to be helpful. Work-related bullying. Look at all of that. There's three main sources of work-related bullying. Workload, work processes, and evaluation advancement are those types. Personal, good. This is like, so when you're looking for a reference and you find something like this and it's like dead on what you want, you do a little fist pump. Because it's really gonna help you out. Okay, now where do I say research run questions? Anyone shows yes. Okay, those are three. Yes, I know that. Okay, left out lines, good. Okay, good. I want to know where do you actually define work-related bullying? Now, somebody says this looks more messy working on different body of the essay at the same time and time consuming. The idea is that what you're trying to do is you're trying to get references and trying to get ideas for what to include in each of these sections. Once each section has enough references and it's kind of flushed out enough, then you start building a storyline within each section. If you do not start incorporating content throughout each of these sections, you're going to have not a cohesive story. It's not going to be coherent. You're going to have basically like one segment of work done, and then another segment of work done, and another segment of work done, but it's not going to flow throughout. So I always recommend you start building each section at a time. What I want to do is once I get done these descriptions of these three, then I'm going to move on to the outcomes, and then I'm going to move on to the antecedents, which I have way too many here. But then that'll be, and then I go back and then I start writing. No, I'm not writing it out, but I'm just trying to tie it into a story. So like, maybe I'll just do this one section because I really am not going to finish this in an hour. Maybe I'll just do this one section, so you get a taste of what I would do. So let me just continue working on the different types of bullying here. Okay. I really like the way they broke it down, but I want how did they word it? Actually, I forgot to reference. What paper is this? Workplace bullying and integrated review. There we go. Bartlett, 2011. Goes in alphabetical order. You don't want to make that simple mistake because TAs love taking off marks for out of order. Okay, that's bullying. Alright. Work related. Okay, so work-related bullying is when somebody with hierarchical power positional power. So I'm trying to, and I'm struggling, rewording that sentence. Power over a target represents. You probably, this is like 101, do not do this. Use the word bullying to define what bullying is. Positional power creates opportunities. Okay, so here's the mechanisms. Okay, so okay, so the e.g. e.g. comma is just means example. I probably don't need two options for each. And because even though I didn't directly quote this, but because I took the content from it, I'll have to reference it as well. I have 20 minutes, you can do this. I think I'm beginning to sweat. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm going to write a 5-page essay on a topic that I don't know a lot about, bullying, and you're going to do this in an hour. What was I thinking? Okay, so that's one. Now, technically, you can flesh this out. This paper gives you more ideas for if you want to go here. I'm going to skip over this for now, and I'm going to go right to the next form of bullying. Oh, is there indirect and direct? Ooh, look at that. Now, how do you phrase this for me? Bullying. See, I'm just following along here. Actually, I'm going to use it, but let's just go with it for now because I'm running out of time. Bullying, where the bullying are interactions between the bully and the target. This is run-on sentence. Don't use that. It's personal types. Direct. Direct one first. Oh yeah, you have all those things. Remember how to direct. You see here, anytime you list something like A and B, and then you want to define it and explain on it further, make sure you continue to use that order. So because I mentioned direct first, I'm going to talk about direct first. After that, I'm going to talk about indirect. Direct personal bullying. Quick other note I'm going to say here. So this direct personal workplace bullying, what I did here is I essentially just reworded this. I wanted to copy it, but I didn't want to actually quote it and reference it. So, so I just rephrased it. Okay, there you go. And when I rephrase it, you're going to have to use. You are not going to be in trouble for referencing. Okay, so that's direct harassment and threats. So one trick that I've learned is you can be inspired by one paper, such as this, right? But clearly there's been a ton of different research here suggesting how personal bullying is associated with certain types of behaviors. What I would do at a later time is just find specific references to support that fact. Okay, so I don't want to just continuously use Bartlett because this person just did a review, they didn't actually find this, so I would like to find the exact paper, the study that connected workplace bullying with like different forms of harassment and threats. I could probably find them here, but again, that etiquette, we don't know exactly. So you'd have to do some hunting here to figure out which one was used there. Okay, there we go. Now we got indirect. Indirect, personal bullying. Indirect personal workplace bullying refers. Indirect personal workplace bullying. we go, and then I'll go to the last. Physical. Alright. Where are we here? Organizational impacts. What happened to my physical? Where's the physical? Physical, let's get physical. Did I just miss it? The third category? Yeah, okay. No. Yeah, indirect, correct. Okay, good. What the shit? Organizational impacts. What happened to your description of your third type of bullying? There's classification, there's physical threatening. Okay. Why is this not? For this study, researchers left out any physical types of bullying in alignment with would be in the violence category. Oh. It's getting serious. Some violence, okay. Oh, somebody says, what is ref? It's a reference. It's just the idea that I would like to go back and find an actual reference for this. So sometimes when I'm writing, I like to get in the flow, right? And it's easier to like write when you're just going through it, and you don't want to waste time finding individual references. You know that you're going to be able to find something that like connects harassment with isolation. Oh, so a bully, or harassment with a bully. So you can just click like bully plus isolation, and I'm sure you're going to find one. Or you could even frankly look in this paper to try to find the exact study that was referenced. So it's just saying you will need to go back later and actually add a reference in here. So that's what I would do for now. I'm trying to figure out what to say because this paper does not. See, this is stupid at this paper. Okay, so we're going to classify these different forms of bullying. Okay, there's these three big categories. Good. We're only going to write about two of them. Why? Well, then how do you know that this is a third big one if you're not going to write anything about it? That is bad etiquette. Threats, depending on their nature, would classify the bullying as threats. Okay, well, what this means is we'd need to find a definition for this and specific examples or mechanisms. I'm going to go do that later though. Okay, so how I would bring this all together. What is bullying? I would probably do. Probably just do it right from there. Okay, let's do that. Okay, indent bullying in replace. Refers to. There we go. Oops. The period. Okay, another note is when you're doing this, period goes after the reference. Okay, not before. Just like I did it here. For in-text citation, it's always after the reference. Oh my God, are you talking about? Somebody just said, "Am I wearing a do-rag? Do I have to turn my hat around?" Okay, bullying in the workplace refers to a situation when a person is exposed to being mistreated by or such mistreatment. we go. So that is probably, and you know, when you think about when you do it double spaced, this is probably pretty close to one page. Once I had like an equivalent one of these in here. Okay, good. I am like, because I started at 8:05. I'm going till 9:05, so I got 8 minutes. I am nowhere near where I needed to be for 8 minutes to go. So somebody says references supposed to be other references that the paper used. Okay, so people are asking about this. So let's talk about this a little more. So what is that? Oh, it's personal. Personal and say direct. Okay, so here. This sentence says that indirect personal bullying behaviors include forms of exclusion and isolation that amount to ignoring. And then there, excuse me. And then there are like a dozen references. Okay, this paper has done a pretty bad job at identifying specifically what each reference refers to. So I would then look to see which of these references actually relate to exclusion. Or, you know, is that the one here? Yeah, exclusion. So I wouldn't have like 10 references like this person has. I would just have the one. And then which of these references specifically relates to isolation, and then I would just use that one here. If that's good practice, because then it's easy for somebody who, like a TA, if they're going to say, okay, I'm going to look into this reference a little bit further, they look at this one reference, they'll find the reference in the back of the, you know, in the back, and then go from there. And that's actually, instead of me just saying that, let's actually do it. Okay, so which of these? So I go to the back of this, and let's look up. Okay, personal discussion. Alright, so one thing you could do is just copy this and then go to and just, you know, put in the title, and then that takes you immediately to it. And then let's see whether they say anything about isolation. No. Let's see whether they say anything about exclusion. Special types of bullying. They do talk about social exclusion. Okay. So I would feel comfortable, based on that, to use, let's call this social exclusion now, because that's what the actual reference says. Agervold, 2007, and because we're not using this, you can throw it in the back. Okay, there we go. And then you could do the same thing for isolation here. That is what I do. I think I like to put reference in there just like this at the start, because like it took a little bit of time to like look for it, and you get out of the rhythm. I find I get out of the rhythm of writing when I have to look for individual references. Okay, so that's why I just write reference or ref, and then continue going from there. Somebody says, do you want us to use headings to separate our paragraphs and sections? Yes, I do. I think it helps with the framing, right? It helps with framing everything. Yeah. Okay. Good. Somebody says, if we have 4 journals, can we also use other reputable sources such as the World Health Organization as a resource? Yes, 100%. Just make sure you use APA formatting. Somebody says, can you have More than 4 references? Yes, absolutely. Can you post an example essay on D12? No. Sorry. Okay. 3 minutes left. Employer outcomes. Let's continue. Let's just continue. I'm nowhere near finished. Oh, this was the other good one. Yeah, this was the other good paper. Let's see if this one has anything about violence. Verbal threats. Humor-oriented bullying. Well, that's kind of funny. What else do you have about threats in here? Work-related stalking. Oh my god, this paper was much more serious. Victimizing individual outcomes. So individual outcomes. In here, do you have employer outcomes as well? There we go. Organizational outcomes. Okay, so this would be a good paper. Okay, for when we get to the next section, and we're talking about. Actually, we don't want to use first person. Okay, there we go. So I'll put job performance as 1, because I already have it here. And this individual outcomes. About fear, anxiety. Fear, anxiety, helplessness, and I know somebody's going to ask me this already, and I'll tell you in just 1 second. Okay, somebody is going to say, hey, why is there an A next to the year? The A next to the year simply means that there are multiple references from Mickelson and Einarson, 2002, and it's just trying to identify them clearly. So if we went down to the bottom, Mickelson, there we go. So there's 2002A and 2002B. There's 2 with the exact same author order, in the exact same year. They're just trying to highlight which one relates to which. Alright guys, that is my hour. I am embarrassingly not even done with the references, and didn't even wow, I think it's taken longer than I don't know if this is possible to do in an hour, even a topic that I know something about, and I knew nothing about bullying, but I do now. 3 different forms. I think these parts would be easier, right? The employer outcomes would be easier. Ways to reduce it would probably be a tougher one as well. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to end it here, guys. I could go on and continue writing, but I'm going to go... somebody says stop cheating. All right, I'm going to answer some of these questions and then I'm going to take off. All right. So somebody says, do you want us to use headings? Yes. Are we allowed to use quotations in the essay? And do we have to reference them? You do not have to use quotations, but you can choose to. I recommend you use direct quotations for definitions. Anytime you use a direct, like word for word, taking it from an article, use quotations and put a page number. Okay, 100%. You need to do that, or TA is going to deduct marks. If we have 4 journals, can we also use the One Health? Yes. Does it matter how many paragraphs? This is an interesting one, because I find that I think people who are more junior at writing, they just write monster paragraphs. They write like 1-page or 2-page long paragraphs. Don't do that. A paragraph should be like a single idea. You see how, for example, how I did it. Okay, so for this bullying idea, I defined bullying. I identified the 3 forms or types of bullying, and then I included the first one in here. Technically, I guess I could have done this, but but I think that the 2 sentences would be a little short for the first paragraph. Okay, and then the second paragraph is purely devoted to one form of bullying. It's a distinct idea. The third paragraph would have been the third form of bullying, which is a distinct idea as well. So in this particular section of what is bullying, I would have had 3 paragraphs, right? So there's not a specific number of paragraphs you need to hit. For here, for example, what are the outcomes of bullying? I probably would have had 2 paragraphs. 1 paragraph related to employee outcomes, 1 paragraph related to employer outcomes. And down here, that would have been 2. So I can't give you a specific number. It depends on how you're writing. Can we get our references from the abstract? Yes, absolutely. Do we use like intro, body as headings, or do we use reasons as the headings? I don't think I understand. Do we use like the intro body as headings, or do we use the reasons as headings? Oh, I think that's up to you. I don't know. I think the reasons could be a kind of a cool one as well. Or you can use like, for example, like, you know, for here, like this one's I'm kind of explaining workplace bullying. Like another alternative, I could have just said like this. Workplace bullying, right? It could have been, you know, if you wanted to do it something slightly differently, I go like this. Right? And then, if I don't want to use like questions, I can say like outcomes of bullying here, and then causes or antecedents of bullying. I think one thing I want to keep in mind, okay, is I think sometimes people they want to be a little fancy and they don't like boring when it comes to writing. Being boring and vanilla with writing is a good thing, okay? You want to be as clear as day when you're writing. So like, for example, workplace bullying. I know what's coming next is going to be related to workplace bullying. I see the first line, oh, it's a definition. Okay, and then here, the literature identifies 3 types. So it's like, it's very easy to follow this flow because I'm specifically telling, it's not like incredibly creative. I'm not like very elaborate with my wording or fancy and anything. I'm just clearly saying what I'm doing. The literature identifies 3 types of workplace bullying. 1, 2, 3. And then I simply define them and give examples. 1, 2, 3. So you don't want to be overly wordy and trying to be too fancy with your writing. Simple, straight to the point, concise is definitely the way to go. When we write our essays, will it be mostly just be references rather than our own ideas? References or own ideas? I think it's going to be a little bit of a mix. One thing I'd suggest you not do is you do not use first person too much. I think it's possible that you can bring in your own opinion, or some people have always said, hey, this experience has happened to me, can I I don't know, tell a personal story? You can, but I think it would be stronger if you used references to help support your argument, because references simply mean that other people have spent a long time studying a particular idea rather than, your one-off situation that might have just been unique to you. Like, references are like, hey, these have been multiple studies that have taken place, so it's a little bit more powerful. And can you see phrases like this essay discussion? Yes, you can. Can you say phrases like this essay discusses in our paper? Yes, this essay discusses, absolutely. Do we need descriptions for each section? I don't know what you mean by do we need descriptions for each section. Somebody asked, how many pages in are you? Not enough. I'm done. I quit. Community advice for writing introduction and conclusion. Oh, some people want to write intro and conclusion. Yeah. So I'll do real high level. So here, summarizing the main points you've made in your essay. Everybody starts in conclusion. Okay, this essay explains different forms of replaceable, it defines and explains it. So highlights why workplace bullying is important, and speaks to the outcomes of it, and identifies ways in which so that's probably how I would kick off the conclusion, right? So you can either do that and then continue on from there, right? So I clearly say this is like each of the bodies of the literature review, the main part, or you have another sentence, and each, you kind of have like an intro sentence, and then you have subsequent sentences for each of the three. So you could say something like, in conclusion, right? And then you have one sentence about the antecedents. So you can take that kind of approach. Okay, so it's the idea that you have one sentence to kind of like introduce it, and then each one of these is like a different section in the literature review, right? To kind of build it out that way. I kind of like that better actually. Right, and then I would go that way. Okay, so that's how I would kind of tackle the conclusion. Okay. How do we cite the slides? Somebody asked, so I'm going to leave this up again. This is how you reference the lectures, the slides. Five pages are double spaced. What is the late penalty per day? Don't submit it late. Somebody's asking for an extension. Should we have 3 headings for the body? Personally, I like the idea of having different headings for the body because it clearly defines what HR topics you're going to be talking about, so I like that. Am I allowed to use similar references? Oh, as I did. Or at least some of them. Yeah, I think so. Right? They're good. Your TAs will never know. They're probably not watching this. What would you thesis be for the example you did? The thesis would be from the part that I never actually got down to, which was I said organizations can you could do this, what can organizations do? Defining I don't know, like those can be all different titles, but the general idea, I like the idea of something positive. You're trying to reduce it, but workplace bullying is a bad thing, so you're trying to reduce it. You're trying to make it less of it. Somebody says, for each section, do we require to explain what each section will be? No, you don't have to. You don't have to say the words, hey, in this section, I'm going to explain X, Y, and Z. Hopefully, their TA, based on your writing, they will understand what you're trying to do. If you're a bad writer, kind of like me, who couldn't finish this in an hour, it might be easy to have a sentence saying what you're doing, kind of like a roadmap. So when your TA is reading this, they'll say, okay, in this section I will do X. So when your TA is reading this, it'll be like, oh, this is what you're going to do. Okay, let's see whether you do it. So it already primes the TA to be looking for a certain things based on what you said you're doing. So I like the idea of explaining what you're going to do in each section. Do you have to, every time when you write a sentence, you have to paraphrase the sentence and then provide references? When you are paraphrasing a sentence that you used from a reference, yes, you have to write it. But if you're writing something in your own words, based on your own ideas, you do not have to reference it. For subsequent sentences are concluded, do we need references? In your conclusion, you probably don't need references, right? Because we've already, like, this is all in my own words. This would not have a single reference. In fact, you should probably not have a reference in your conclusion, because if you're you shouldn't be introducing something new in your conclusion. In fact, your intro shouldn't have a lot of references either. A lot of the references, if not all of them, should take place in the body. Somebody says, any tips for writing the introduction? Thank you, doll. See you in class. Maybe. What a nice fella. Do we need to put the topic on the cover page? Yes. Yes, you do. Alright guys, that is it for me. I apologize. I thought I would get further. I didn't really get too far. But you know what? It's all part of it. I suspect I could have done this, finished the whole thing, A+ quality in 2 hours. Uninterrupted, 2 hours. I think I got I was getting the flow going. Maybe 2.5, maybe 3. 3 for sure. But yeah, good. Alright guys, on that note, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave you guys to it, and I'll see most of you this week. Alright, take care guys. Bye-bye.